Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Headspace Podcast, where we talk about the new hip hop albums and go through them track by track. Today, we are going to be talking, by we, I mean me, I'll be talking about AJ Tracey's self-titled album, AJ Tracey. And this is very exciting for a couple of reasons, mostly due to my ignorance in the UK scene. But before we all jump into that, I'm going to do the intro bit, and then we're going to talk about AJ Tracey's album. If you want to skip this and jump right to the part where I begin the album review, you can check the description of this video, and you will see every song timestamped for when it will actually be talked about. That way you can cherry pick, because I know this whole thing's daunting. It's a long review, but I don't expect you to watch everything. Watch what you want, that kind of thing. Before getting into it for real, though, I want to let you know that I'm not necessarily an expert by any means. This whole channel is kind of like a public journey of me discovering and learning to appreciate hip-hop over time, about 2 years in now. So, I really appreciate all of your comments. It's mostly through the comment section that I've been able to really get my knowledge on, because Google is good if you know what you're looking for. If you just Google vague terms, you get a lot of bullshit. You get a lot of pop reviewers, the kinds of people that usually appreciate what I do. They don't really want to see that, and when I'm going to look for information, I don't know what the fuck is right or wrong. All I can see is a lot of pretentious people often dropping their opinions. So you guys in the comments, the real fans, the people who truly appreciate often the acts that I'm covering, even more than I ever could, just because most of the time I'm brand new to it, y'all really make the difference for me delivering a better product in the future. So feel free to leave any comments you want. Normally, I like to read my favorite YouTube comment of last week's video, but last week, Christopher and myself, Chris isn't here. He's normally with me. It's supposed to be more of a conversational thing, but he has some shit to deal with this weekend. So here it's going to be me for a bit. I'm on vacation. Lots of me coming. But last week, Chris and I were speaking about 38 Special's album, 38 Strategies of Raw, which is not 33 Strategies of War. It's very hard for me to not get those two things confused. Either way, my favorite comment was when somebody showed up and he was like, 38 Specials, put your shit on Instagram. And then I go ahead and I check that out, and there it is. And it's 38 Special, and he's got one of those new YouTube or features where you gotta kind of watch pieces of the movie over time or whatever. But he has me saying some cool shit, and he shared that, and his comment was 3 of those like fist up emoticons like that, and then dope review. And to get that from a guy like 38 Special was the most meaningful, let's say, cosign, we can call it, of my entire time being on this channel. So if 38 Special does watch this, or if anyone knows him, just thank you. That really blew my mind, and it was amazing. So that was cool. That was a little different than the normal version where I would read one of your comments. So if you want me to read one of your comments next week and AJ Tracey doesn't trump you, Trump actually has a meeting before the president. Either way, if you don't want to, if he comments, well, he's going to win. But everyone else, if you guys comment, whatever has the coolest comment is going to get read, because it's about education. And often y'all guys, or ladies, but like 99% of you are men, will go ahead and teach me so much shit that I kind of wish I knew before the review. But unfortunately, I'm only going to learn. But I feel like AJ Tracey is going to be around for a while. And so for his next release, y'all going to school me and teach me what I need to know, is the hope at least. Either way, we're going to get ready to get into it now. Before we do, special thanks to the patrons. And we have a new patron. So now it's 5 people, which is fucking dope. Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Ismail Gadamsi, Lindell Williams, and we're going to go with Carl J is the new introduction. And that's really cool. Just to have 5 people supporting us so directly is dope. We'll talk a bit about that at the end. I'm just really happy that we had to introduce the new person. It's what it is. So yeah, we'll talk about AJ Tracey's self-titled project now, because that's what you're here for. I like to start this off kind of contextualizing my familiarity with the artist, and in this case it's going to be more the whole UK scene. As I learned while talking about gigs and Wiley, that this shit is radically different in terms of its history than maybe what I'm used to. So while it all kind of feels the same, there's a lot of culture that would go into creating AJ Tracey's project that I don't know that I really know. I'm not saying, I understand that the guy may have been involved in some American shit, but I don't know a lot about his past. I know he comes from London, and I know that he's 24 years old, and I think the age of an artist is very relevant for what I'm going to think about the message and what they have to say throughout the project, because a guy like Eminem, who's 46, who's kind of whining about a legacy, that's kind of boring to me. That's just my preferences. It has nothing to do with talent or skill. It's like what he wants to focus on. However, a younger guy doing a younger guy thing, that's totally cool because he's a younger guy doing a younger guy thing, just to give you that frame of mind. But I know that I don't know fucking anything, really. I don't even know the difference between grime and regular UK hip-hop. I know that they are different things. I know that I don't know the difference, so I'm not even going to try to guess what is what. Y'all can maybe point me towards some educational things that'll help me. I know y'all did, like, the last time I asked this, but it was a different time in life. Now I'm, like, a lot more able to handle that kind of information and really understand it. Either way, yeah, so I don't know anything about AJ Tracey. I know that he appeared, he had a new album come out, and I heard the first track and I said, yo, I want to hear the rest of this project, and it kind of just became the main thing I was going to focus on this weekend as the number one, just because I'm a bit of a sucker for the accent and it sounded hype, that first track. So that's how I ended up choosing to do this. For those who may ask that question, and sometimes it gets asked, why on earth did you pick this person? It's because it came out. The album's come out on Friday. Pick from that. I've been sitting on it for maybe 2 days. Heard it a few times, about 5-6 times now in the last 2 days. So for those who come to this in the future and have had a chance to really dissect everything, keep in mind that for me, this is a brand new genre-ish. Like, I get hip-hop, but this is some next-level shit to try to understand just the nuances of stuff. Like, there's some lyrics where I'm like, that doesn't sound like anything anybody here would say, but I'll bet it's hype, because I now understand that different shit can be hype based on where the fuck you're from. And it's really convoluted when you get into, like, the metagame of hip-hop. Anyway, I feel like I'm going very tangential on this one. I apologize for that. Still, I love the album cover. I love the fact that he's just sitting there and there's people behind him. But on his lap is what appears to be a little unicorn thing. It's got a little horn. It just looks like... It makes me believe that what this album is like he's now living this impossible dream. Like, it communicates to me, like, when you think of a unicorn, you just think of something mythical, something rare, something that's almost unachievable, but something that everybody seems to want. Like, unicorns are ridiculously popular. So to get your own unicorn, or in a sense of, like, maybe somebody trying to rise up in life, to have your own album, to have your own experience, this whole life might feel almost like fantasy or whatever. That's what got communicated to me through it. And then it's almost like you're looking at it through, like, a jet or something, because there's that red line thing that kind of looks like a window cutting off the view. So I don't really know if I'm right about that, because it also just looks like a normal ass room behind him with all those people just there, and he looks fucking bored. I don't know. It just, there's a lot going on in this little cover, but I feel like it does a lot to communicate maybe the state of mind he's in, or he wants you to kind of perceive, because I feel like a cover is supposed to communicate to you a little bit before you hit play what you're supposed to be thinking. So to see that, I was like, that's cool. So maybe he's like, what I instantly thought was, this guy's newly here and he's ready to go, but maybe he's not fully enthralled with what life is, you know? Like, that's the kind of perception I was at starting this project. It's his first main album. I believe he's had mixtapes and shit in the past. I'll be honest, sometimes I don't. Like, I read the wiki pages and then it's all just kind of stuff, so it goes out, and I don't unfortunately have enough time to watch all the interviews like I bet I should be doing. So I'm acknowledging that there is some ignorance for me here. Anyway, without further ado, let's talk about Plan B.
Live it up, live it. Tell that girl that she can stay if she gon' give it up. You can run the track of me, cause
I also like to talk a bit about the title. I like the fact that it's self-titled, where, like, your first real introduction to him is, my name's AJ Tracey, and it's my project is me. I am the project. And I thought that was really cool. I also am really enthralled with this one line that just popped out to me the very first time I listened to this. Me and you are not the same. We had a different past. And, like, I got the sense that, like, in context, he's trying to convey it more like he's got a real past, he's authentic, and you claiming that shit, it's fake, so you guys are not the same. But then I thought about it on a very literal semantic, like, really think about what he just said. And it's true, like, because you, person watching this, and I, person sitting here, have not, like, had the exact same past. fundamentally, we actually are not the same based on that, because there's a degree of your personality that's simply a summation of your life choices, what you did and everything. And I like that. Like, I like the idea that he's like, look, stop comparing us. We can't be the same. Maybe there are similarities between us, but truth is, none of y'all, unless you're from Montreal, none of y'all from Montreal, or none of y'all grew up with my world, so you can't really understand my life 100%. We can all make assumptions about each other, and I bet y'all could be right about a whole bunch of different things about my past and who I am, and I'm not trying to pretend like I'm some unique person that's reinventing the wheel or anything, but I just really like that. That was like some of the more interesting wise shit that I think I've heard recently, and I like when my brain just starts running off of like a single lyric. It's pretty dope. But this comes in and it's got a really interesting beat. That's probably what part of hooked me. It's got a cool like drum pattern that I'm not 100% familiar with, but with like almost typical highs on the beat, and like everything else felt the same, but that kind of boppy beat just really hooked me. And then he's like running through them bottles. I can't see what's real. I'm living in a bubble. Turn up at the party, trying to get in trouble. Yeah, she came with me. I'm trying to keep it subtle. I'm like, on one hand, it's a little bit in the realm of what you would expect, I guess, of somebody who's come from a bad place and is now in a position where they're famous. But at the same time, there's an honesty to it. And I feel like when people glorify shit or take this life and like paint it in a bad way, lately that's what really grinds my gears, when people just kind of go next level with it. But when you're saying shit like you're running through these bottles, you can't see what's real, you're living in a bubble, that's not really the same thing as just your vapidness, right? That's where all of a sudden you're expressing like, yo, maybe I'm drinking all the time because everything around me is fucking fake in this little social world of yes men and people trying to feed me bullshit all the time. And I feel like, okay, so if hip-hop fundamentally is supposed to be a real expression of shit, and that's the dude's life, as he's trying to maybe wrap his hands around the game or get into this next tier of existence, that sounds super legit. I don't know. It just really struck out to me as authentic. And authenticity is something that I find very appealing. So right off the jump, I was very impressed. And that hook is cool. Like, it's a real hook. It's got like a nice flow to it that makes it easy to like sing along to. Like, you could, everyone there could be like running through these bottles. You know, like, it's not a hard flow. So it's fun. It's a great hook. And then the first thing the guy's going to say to us on the entire album, and apparently this is the oldest track. This is what he said about it. He made it a couple years back in New York or whatever, and he was just fucking around. But the very first thing we're going to hear from him on this project, which to me, as an American over here, or not American, I'm a Canadian, but when thinking about UK, I feel like I just generalized Canada into America. But I'm a Canadian, born and raised. But yeah, I don't do drugs. I don't want no pills. Get out my face. I just want to chill. And I'm like, okay. So right out the jump, he wants his mind pure, and he wants to like be left alone to kind of focus on what he's got to focus on. Diamond dancing on me, I'm not grilled, and she can throw it back, but that neck is ill. What I love about that is he's one of those guys that takes care of his team. I don't know. Some people just like don't include that. Like, yo, I'm popping, and that's just the be-all end-all of it. If you're gonna talk about how you're popping, in my opinion, your team has to be popping too. And if that's a priority for him, brag about being rich and making your boys pop too. That's sick. I can appreciate that. You know what I mean? Anyway, it just kind of goes on through, and it's very braggadocious. It's very proper. London in my aura, boy, I got that swagger on me. Yeah, that's probably why I'm reviewing this, because that shit is oozing, and I love it, and it's really fun to listen to. I know Grove is Ladbroke Grove. Fuck, the DB back to each other. It's challenging. Ladbroke Grove, which is, I believe, where he's from. That's really, like, it's just really cool to, like, learn all this, but unfortunately, a lot of it's just kind of, like, names and stuff. So I'm more I don't really understand, let's say, the puns in England. It's just a little bit different than the puns in Canada. Anyway, so I like that he's Trini, and he tells us that right away. I also like lines like, my brother's open carry like it's Alabama. My bro just touched his set, now he's in a slammer. And it really paints the idea of like, look, this is a little bit where I'm from. You need to maybe have this understanding. So he is currently popping. He's currently kind of getting into this new world. But at the end of the day, he comes from this other environment. And he's also, so like, this song is a really really cool introduction to who he is. And it's interesting that it's like this is his plan B, this whole music thing. Maybe he was trying to do something else. I don't really know a lot about his past. I don't want to speculate. I did like the line, pagans think, I don't know how to say that right, pagans think I'm gonna fall, I got another plan. And I like that. I believe that means pagans or whatever is like jealous haters types, and so backstabbers is what Genius tells me. And the fact that he's at a point now where it seems like everybody who gets to this point, like every single person has people trying to take him out. Like all of them. No matter how fake shallow you are, no matter how rich or poor you are, it's like the second you start doing anything well for yourself that other people can't have or can't easily replicate, they become haters. It's something that really scares the shit out of me. The fact that like every single rapper has this problem. I don't know. That's a weird fucking world we live in. Either way, I gave this song a 4.25. I really like the flows. I really like the beats. It's got a good braggadocious introductory nature to them. I think it's the kind of shit that I could throw on when I'm vibing out in a nice place and I just kind of want to coast and dance like a goofy guy in the corner. I definitely was moving. I was trying to get my shoulders on. I'm very bad at this. But this was really fun. This was a really cool song, so I give it a 4.25. Maybe I don't understand the nuances of why it's better. Feel free to explain it to me in the comments. But meanwhile, I did feel a bit when I heard this album like I hit the jackpot.
How many? Regular and ain't a regular drip. And the way I fire lyrics in a regular skit is too easy. Did you feel?
I was left with an aching question with this song that I'm really hoping one of y'all in the comments could in fact answer for me. He says, I eat Chick-fil-A, but no Wendy's. And I was like, why? Why is that a thing? What's the difference? Did Wendy's do something that I missed out on? Am I like just out of touch here? So I was super hoping that like one of y'all could maybe explain why Chick-fil-A is cool but Wendy's is not, and I don't know why. Either way, I really dig this track. I feel like the last one, maybe it was just I was getting introduced to him, but I feel like this one is a complete fucking step up in terms of everything. The beat's nicer, the hook's somehow even fucking nicer. Just like I hit the jack spot, I'm at the Mandalay, whatever that is. It's not the trap spot. You see this beefing thing? It's got the flats hot, and now you're living, showing you man a snapshot, and I'm an off-white, and then he repeats it. And I just feel like it's got this like celebratory, like rags to riches, like he finally did it feel to it. And you know, given he's a young dude who's like escaping where he's coming from, let's say, for this music thing, which is actually starting to work, and you feel like this honesty and appreciation in the way he's spitting it. It's not arrogant. It's like he feels lucky, and I feel like he wants you to know that he feels lucky in that hook, and I really appreciated that. Either way, once the verse kicks in, his flows are fucking fun. I like shit like my wrist looked like a Skepta ad-lib. I mean, if you're gonna make something about how blinged out you are, it's cool to do it in a way where you shout out another guy in the culture and his significance. I don't really know a lot about Skepta's ad-lib. Apparently it's icy. He says icy a lot. I don't really know. And so I'm just assuming that Genius is not lying to me here, and you guys know more. Either way, it flows out. You know, one of my favorite lines in the entire song, though, really blew my mind was, "You're bad now, you're an Insta G." And that was pretty cool because there is a lot of people who talk a lot of shit on social media, and I mean in every walk of life, but like you see them in person and they just, I guess they're different, but I don't know. It's just the idea of the Insta G, because it's such a play on Instagram, and it really I can't believe I've never heard anybody say that before for how fucking clever and nifty that line is. Somebody else has said it, that's fine. The first dude who told me that dope ass line is gonna be AJ Tracey. I also like shit where he's like, fuck, I can't do this right. Demand hear the flow, but don't listen. I'm MLK, AJ Trace, I got a vision. Can't be a gang, you're cloaked, you stay hidden. Me, I'm on the streets, so Grove, real life pigeons. I'm like, I kind of appreciate that sentiment where you say a bunch of stuff and people don't want to like dig deeper or care about the point of what you're trying to do. And sometimes like when we do things, like even doing these reviews, there's a bigger purpose to this. It's because I don't think a lot of people care a lot about albums or the culture or really about digging deep. So I can't be one of those people that goes, yo, people don't do this, and then not do this. So by doing this whole reviewing process, it's like exposing me to shit like AJ Tracey, who is pretty fucking dope. Anyway, just to prove again that there's cool shit that keeps getting dropped, that not everything that's on the fucking AT40 fucking chart. We used to, like, back in the day, shit on what's on the charts on radio. Like, Billboard used to not be an indication of what was good. You know, like, it used to just be, that was pop. Now that all the cool hip-hop-y shit, I guess, is on pop, it's like people forgot about that. So it's not really any of these artists' fault, well, that y'all choose to care that Billboard dictates what's popping as opposed to looking to see what's getting released and help. I don't know. I have very, like, unfortunately unhappy feelings towards the state of the fan in regards to that kind of complaining. And I found most of you who come here and watch this tend to not be that person. So this isn't directed at you. It's just... Anyway, just kind of something that I've been noticing. But, like, the guy's got cool lines. Like, I just hit the jackpot, no lie. Mummy in the Canada Goose, she's so fly. Like, that's expensive fucking jackets, dude. Like, that's like $1,000 jacket. That's a dope line. And he's bringing up some Canada shit, which I appreciate. I don't know. My babe's walking see-through off-white. I guess off-white is off-kilter. I mean, that's what I'm going to assume. I don't really know. I don't have a lot to, like, break down in his lyrics. It's mostly just good wit. Like, it's really well constructed lines with really good constructed flows, and I find that when you really, like, take the time to listen to any of them, it works out well. The beat is banging and he bounces off of it really fucking well, and the fact that he's able to take such different sounds and bring his own style to them all is very impressive to me. This one is totally more up my alley, and I give it a 4.5 on 5. Yeah, the next one on this album is called Rina.
My plug got me rocky, I still got the number for the poppy. We're in the crib right now with this magnum.
Man, these beats are great. I don't know, man. This guy's an excellent fucking ear for this shit. Because, like, I don't know, the rhythm being used, maybe it's just because I'm not that familiar with it. Like, we don't have that many sounds over on this side of the pond. Like, 98% of what we review is not from Europe. Or in any way, shape, or form. I'm including the UK and Europe because I know England is in Europe still in the EU. I don't know, complicated territorial line shit. Either way, this is apparently like about some girl that he dated, his first real girlfriend, so he's trying to write some kind of a more lovey song, and it's reflected in the fact that it's kind and appreciative in the sense of stuff like all this water on my body, my girl give me naughty, I love it when a ting so sloppy, these brothers want to copy, my plug got me rocky, I still got the number for the poppy, we're in the crib right now. And I'm like, okay, it's one of these songs. These are not my favorite songs, but he does it particularly well, and maybe it's just because nobody's rhyming naughty and sloppy from where I'm listening to, and that is distinct. It's new sounding to me a little bit, and I find when stuff's new sounding to me, I'll appreciate it more just because I haven't heard it before. But the beat's real nice. The chorus is pretty proper. Like, she's sitting on it, she got me hitting on it, she got a lip and her lips got me twist when I'm kissing on it. Like, you can just picture him like being mad into this girl. And it's got again, his hook is fantastic. All 3 songs, 3 fantastic hooks. It's like, it's really rare to get the guy who can rap really well that can also make the pop suck you in hook at the same time. Ad-libs are on point. Everything's doing well on this. Then he does his verse. It's totally fine. Verse 1 seems to be a bit more about the girl. And, you know, how she's cool. And, like, you know, she's only for him. And then verse 2 just kind of seems to be a little bit more about how he's fly. But I really liked where she's like, her ex-man's moist, on God he can't walk it. I've never heard anybody say shit like that. Like, her ex-man's moist? Like, I'm certain that is an expression, and I can kind of get the idea weak. You know, I can see how pussies are moist, so it's almost like calling someone pussy. But, like, for me, it's like, I've never really heard anyone call anyone moist before. That's funny. On God, he can't walk it, and that makes sense, you know, because the guy's fake. But then he goes, H2O, my chains are Team Rocket, bling blow. I like that. I really did. It was cool. That's literally both a gun and Pokemon bar at the same fucking time. That's cool. It's like it's creative and shit. It's really like fun to listen to, and I would say, especially if you're not that familiar with British music in the hip hop side, this is fucking great crossover shit. This is some shit that's super appealing to me, who's not that familiar with the genre per se, and it's still like really clear. Like while there are occasional expressions that go over my head, for the most part, like it's pretty solid punning and whatnot. I give this a 4.35. This is not my style of song. Typically, I don't rate the girl songs as high as the deep conceptual shit, and that's my preference, and that's what really gets me going. I could not call this like some shit that I have to recommend to people. On the other hand, so far, if I was at a party, I would just start playing this album, and we good. Don't even have to skip a song, and that's really cool. And I like the fact that he's got both bars and skills mixed with the ability to impress me at the club. That is something we all need in life. I have not yet heard the first two versions that were in this song, but he did say that Wifey Riddim 3 was meant to be a little bit different.
But the gal I'm dripping water like my car. Oops, I meant rolly. Show my exes only girls that really know me.
So again, the hook is ridiculous. It comes in real strong. It's Wifey Part 3. My Gucci says blind for love I can't see. Yeah, my girl you can't be. I know I sound terrible. I don't care. That's so fun. You're just bopping. You're just feeling it. The whole beat has this, like, I think it's steel drums is the what's in there. The whole Caribbean vibe to it. And it's fucking dope. Like, it's just really a fun beat. Again, you're at the party now. First 3 songs have played. It's about 12 minutes in maybe, and the drinks is starting to get a little tipsy. This comes on, you start the dancing, you start getting going. It's fucking perfect. Like, this entire album is like working so far for a party. It's kind of a little bit about how he's a playboy and he's cool, and you know, he's the shit. It's braggadocious, I wanna fuck kind of song. But there's a particular girl I guess he's going for. I just had a lot of trouble really diving super deep into the lyrics of shit like, I love her Essex straw, she trying to give me top while I stretch and yawn. My Irish girl Lisa got the treasure in her panties, but she ducking like a leprechaun. What you running for, B? And it's clever. Like, listen, if a guy is gonna be rapping about all the women he fucks, I want some dope shit, like equating puns like Irish and running leprechauns. You know, like, that at least shows literary effort. You know, I appreciate that. Like, I love a blonde ting. Her name Becky's explosive, but she knows it. We might have to go part ways like Moses. Like, you know, that's got some cleverness to it. It's not just like, I make the pussy wet or play with the pussy like Pikachu or Peekaboo or whatever. Like, it's not like there's cleverness here. This is good writing mixed into maybe what I would consider to be a bit more of a vapid theme. But at the same time, let's say I was single, and let's say it was like 2 a.m, and let's say I was faded and this came on. This would be a nice song to, you know, end up dancing with somebody to, is all I'm trying to say. So I really appreciate that for what it is. It's really good. I give this a 4.35. It's, again, not really my cup of tea in terms of going out there to listen to it on my own, but it's totally my cup of tea in the right context, in the right environment. And the fact that, like, it's so enjoyable. Like, I'd put this on over most of the pop songs like Post Malone or whatever that might get played at the party instead. It's got a high energy, and I hate how slow energy everything else is. So the fact that he's able to make these high energy songs and not just dumb it down to try to be R&B is fucking cool. Anyway, the next one is Double C's.
Blood out my girls. See through Louboutin hills, I might just blood out my girls.
So at first I was like, did he really write a song about tits? Because double C's are boobies. In my mind, is the first thought. Apparently, for a guy so into the fashion world, and I know he's done some modeling and he's like legit into that world, double C's is more Coco Chanel. And I'm like, oh, that makes more sense. Apparently, the song was going to be called Chanel. And I'm like, oh, that's always, I'm glad that there's quotes from him on like every fucking song. It's really cool to have those little contexts. But apparently Chanel's a little too generic, and he didn't want the generic name, so he changed it to double C's, so it is a little more ambiguous. And I guess he achieved his goal. The first thing I thought of was a girl in a strip club. Anyway, there's some fascinating shits that are like said on this song, like stuff I'm glad he mentioned because I didn't know. Like, he made Forbes 30 under 30. I might go flood out my girls. I'm like, damn, That's impressive, you know. And just the fact that he was making dope Louboutin heels, I might just blood out my girls. Man's doing tour in Chanel, the stripper Chanel. How you gonna talk about dates when half of my team is in jail? I think that's what I kind of liked, is that while all of this shit is happening, he's still grounded to know that, like, where he's from, and the fact that as much as he's popping, not everyone is still there with him. So up until the point where everybody's there with him, I don't think he's gonna feel like he's really there yet. He's on his way, but that's an interesting like thing about him that I think makes me believe he's a more grounded and like down to earth person. And I like how he just starts off, my new girl's not a keeper, F moves, might use her as a striker, she's way too fast and hyper, she can tell I really don't like her, but it's cool she don't like me either. And you know, like it just kind of starts to show that the vapid maybe relationship of how people treat him. Like I always find it kind of sad when I hear these like really successful people talk about how all these girls will fuck them, they'll do anything, they'll like have 5-7 chick orgies as long as you buy them bags and shit after, and then it's like, or that's the whole relationship, or she'll date you thinking she'll get something out of you, and I don't know, is that fun? Maybe it's fun when you're 24. If I was 24, I think that would be really fun. But now I'm 31, and I feel like that sounds kind of sad compared to having a girl that's like really down to ride, like really down to be yours. I don't know. That's just something that I think about. Either way, I really enjoyed how he starts off verse 2 with my head teacher couldn't manage me. Fuck Mr. Hall, he's a prick, and I'm still getting money in the Grove where the bangers be. And then that's just really cool. Like, if Mr. Hall's his teacher, fuck him. Because I can't stand fucking teachers that talk shit like that and, like, kind of dismiss somebody's dreams. Like, not everybody has thought that I would ever do anything with my life. Many people just thought I would be a fucking loser failure type. Some of you still might think that. That's fine. I know where I'm at. And it's really cool to, like, defy what other people are going to think of you. That's a powerful feeling. And I like how he follows it up with, he could never get served like a cannabis. And then proceeds to talk about how he has his fucking money as thick as various women who are thick, such as Kim Kardashian, Demi Rose, and, let's not forget, the fucking animal, the manatee. Love it. That's amazing. That's one of my favorite fucking lines on the album. Overall, this one feels more like traditional trappy to me in terms of the beat, like more of what I would expect to hear for a song about this kind of things. And I think the main part of what makes me like it is his accent and the fact that he is saying shit I haven't heard before, and his authenticity. Those are all points. But this is so far the first song where I'm like, I could live without this one. I do like the outro where it's all about rumors and like you actually have to have real reasons to come back. And you know, like, so if things aren't real and things are just kind of fake, that it's not even worth it. And that, you know, so like, then there's no reason for me to come back to unless it's real or unless I thought it was real. So invalid. Like how this entire song seems to be like a play or an argument he's making or something. And then it's almost a response saying, is that even real? You know, I really like that. I really think it makes it a little bit deeper than just your average fucking song. It makes me really be impressed with AJ Tracey. Anyway, next up is a truly non-expected song on this album, in my opinion, because apparently AJ Tracey is a fucking country star. Cowgirls ripping off bras on the ride and I scream hard. But these carrots like I worked on the farm. So apparently he made a joke about how he's gonna make half his album country, and then when he got verified on Instagram or something, they put a guitar next to him. So then he's like, yeah, I guess I'm a country star. And so there was some inside joke attached to this, and since I wasn't living through it, it just is shit I'm reading off of the internet after the fact. But then I heard that beat and I said, that's country? And I had to maybe I just don't know what country is. One of the things I've noticed is occasionally I'll have people ask me why I review hip hop. You know, how would you feel if I came and reviewed country music? Like, because I'm white or something, that I like country. I don't. I live in the city. Like, we don't really bump country as much in the city, you know? I live in a fucking metropolis. It's not exactly like the country is anything connected to my life. You know what's a better move? Say Queen. If you want to insult me or whatever with that, throw it like Queen or Rock or something. Then you'll have riled up city boys. You won't get the city boys with, how'd you feel if I like country? Maybe in the South. I don't know. I'm from the North. I'm from Montreal. I'm in the north of the States North. Anyway, so I don't really like country much, but I heard this basic, nice little 4-chord guitar loop that sounded like next level with the drums and shit on it. And I'm like, that kind of sounds more like just rock to me. I mean, I get the joke. I get the point. I get it. But I'm just saying that I don't feel like that beat sounds like country music to me. It just sounds like a dope ass rock hip hop beat that is so fucking cool and full of very, very fun lines. I love this song. This is possibly my favorite song on the album. And maybe it's because he accidentally made a beat completely, or did a song that is almost like tailored to my taste, whereas the last one is not tailored to my taste, is the complete opposite. He's bouncing off that beat like proper. It's an upbeat, fast-paced flow. While granted, it's very flossy, very much how, I'm a country star. It's no joke. Carrots on my neck, these diamonds, they can make man choke. I'm too flash, don't stare, get a stroke. Pull up to the farm and get whatever. Those lines are fine. I'm not really feeling it. I do like his honesty. Like, I'm a sex addict and a young boss plus goat. I like that kind of stuff. It doesn't sound like he's really trying to be the best. He's trying to relish in his success. And maybe that goat line contradicts me a bit, but in general, I like how he goes, my tings dim love off reverse cowgirl. I mean, it's not very country. Reverse cowgirl is just an excellent fucking position, okay? It's just great. It's enjoyable. Anyway, there's one line that absolutely fucking stood out to me, and it's when he goes, I eat goat enough time, so me cannibal. And I'm like, holy shit, that is the goat of the goat lines. I've never heard a goat line I liked as much as that, right? And for real, curry goat may be one of my absolute favorite dishes that I don't get to eat enough. So I appreciate that he would eat a lot of goat coming from Trinidadian heritage. I'm hoping I'm right. Otherwise, I sound stupid now. But just the idea that he eats goat, so in literally real life, but in more of a metaphorical, he eats the rappers or kills them in rap battle form, or is just that much doper or fresher that he eats out of the other goats, so he's a cannibal. Oof, it's too good. That was one of my literal favorite lines on this entire project. Hell, that might rank in one of my favorite lyrics of the year. Anyway, independent, but the label dim say me flammable. I like that. I don't know how independent any fucking independent person really is. Often they're independent in a music creation point of view, but then sign distribution deals that end up being connected. Like, even like the indie distro people are owned by the big players, so is it really independent? This is stuff I'm just curious about myself. I digress. I don't know shit about that, so I don't want to call them on that. It's just anytime I hear somebody go independent, I go, how independent are you? Like, I'm independent. Literally nobody throws money at me, and nobody's helping me except for those 5 patrons. Those guys are awesome, but like literally nobody else. So that is what I see when I hear independent, is literally having to do it on your own. So having teams and shit and people with money behind you, it always makes me wonder, how independent? I know, I'm just playing technicalities. And for all I know, AJ Tracey is 100% literally independent. So I don't want to talk shit about him. That's not the point. It was more, do you guys also ask questions like that? Because that's the whole thing. So, when you review music, you start wondering shit. I digress. He's fucking blessed on this song. I like I'm a G like Ali, because the Ali G show's sick. Sacha Baron Cohen's a ridiculously fun guy. Overall, this song just hit me in the right way. It's basically like all the other stuff he's been doing, only over a completely different style. And I think that is a huge saving grace for what he does, is that like no 2 beats on this album are really the same. So he doesn't, even if he doesn't necessarily change up what he raps about song to song or try to come up deep and conceptual, he is flexing versatility in a way that so few others can. And I think Country Star is a really good case in point of that, and I would hope to hear more people bringing in more guitars. I think one of my favorite songs off of the Carter 3 is the one with the guitars. Anyway, I give this song a 5 on 5. It's really dope. The next one, though, is called Psych Out.
You couldn't play me if you wanted, I'm a rock star. Just got a plaque for singing, mommy.
This is a cool song in the sense of like what it is, like one of those more airy, braggadocious songs, but almost nothing about this hooked me the way, say, Double C's might have hooked me a little bit. I recognize that this is very much a taste thing. I'm not the biggest fan of this song, But as far as this kind of music goes, it's pretty well made. Like, it's really well done. It just feels so formulaic. Now, if I understand correctly, he did break his album into chunks, so the first part was meant to be more rappy. If you notice, I really dug that. This is meant to be more of this middle part, so there will be a couple of songs in a row that follow maybe more of this singy, airy, I don't know, I guess more R&B shit. I don't know. So non-aggressive music. Apparently his mom asked him why he always makes aggressive music, so he wanted to try out some new shit. For that, I give him props because it makes me believe he's more of an artist. And I say that sincerely. I don't have to like every song you do. In fact, if you're a really, really good artist and you're really versatile with it, like he is on this project, it's going to be impossible for the entire thing to be something I'm probably going to like, because he's maintaining at least 2 or 3 main styles that he shifts between and does so seamlessly while maintaining the essence of being AJ Tracey. But lyrically, not a lot really popped out at me. It was fine. Like, you couldn't pay me if you wanted. I'm a rock star. Just got a plaque for singing Mummy, I'm a pop star. My Fendi scarf keeps spinning, made a helicopter. Hey mama, went and bust my wrist, I need a doctor. So I appreciate that. Like, I appreciate the fact that he has that humility still. Like, it's almost amazement that he's here and he's so proud to share it with them. But at the end of the day, it's, I don't know, lines like white Air Forces, Beamers, Bentleys, and Porsches, take my girl for 3 courses, money fever, I'm nauseous, pop the shooters, we're lawless, Psych Out, words to my chorus. In general, while it all works and it all flows really well, it isn't saying very much to me except that he's richer than me. And while he has every right to brag about being richer than me, that kind of song is never going to hit 100% with like what I want. I think it's his humility and amazement, or the fact that he manages to make everything not sound like he's a piece of shit, that really makes me appreciate when he does it. And there's something about the way that he makes songs like this that I wish other people would copy. Honestly, the tone in his writing, it makes me like him. He could be richer than me, but I still like him, and that's cool. That's not something a lot of braggadocious people can pull off in this era when you are rapping about this shit. But like, I mean, he's a fashion model and shit, so he looks fresh, and that's very important to him, and, you know, things like that. And the fact that it's all part of a bigger brand and that he really is trying to build something, and he's, you know, about his team and stuff, it's almost like I want him to get money because he's going to do good shit with it, and that kind of stuff makes me like him. Anyway, I gave it a 4.25, mostly because I recognize it's well made for what it is, but it's not really my cup of tea. The next one, though, is Butterflies.
Like it's one of those. You like me on a high, but I'm on a low. Cooler bridges, we can vibe, we can run.
There is a chance that the music video impacted my grade a little bit, because he went to Trini, I believe it was Trini, it was one of the islands, to show off like his homeland and just basically show this like party vibe. Everyone's having a good time, everyone looks happy, and like at the end he has this message. He's like, not everyone is able to go back to their homeland to see it. Don't just believe what you see on the news. There's all this beauty and amazing shit here. And the amount of asses that are shaking and the amount of good time vibes it looks like. And the guy he's featuring is fucking faded, beyond faded the entire way through. And it's really fun to watch these guys. Like, it's really like, they look so, like, I want to go hang out with them just watching that music video. So it was cool. And basically, yeah, it was shot in Port of Spain, Trini. I was right. That's cool. So the music video takes place there. And the song has a great beat. It is more upbeat and more fun, dancey. The lyrics are kind of what they are. Just, you know, like, I really enjoy. It's more creative than the last one, but drink strong liquor, got the party jumping. That's cool. I want to get you home and give your ting a thumping. Okay. I mean, like, at a certain point in a review like this, there's not that much more I can say about him being popular and wanting to fuck girls. But then, as I was feeling like that, he goes, I carve the pussy up like I'm cutting pumpkin. Pussy like the English Channel every time I jump in. Splash. And I'm like, there, he does it again. He says some new shit that just makes me smile and go, at least he has these lines in here that just sound like shit I've never heard before. And I heard that pumpkin shit like 6 times. And every time I heard the pumpkin shit, I really enjoyed it. And the way he goes splash in the ad-libs and stuff, it's so fucking fun. And that's what you're supposed to have here. This is a fun song that's really fucking fun. So props to that. And then I guess not Three's Notes, whatever his name is. I apologize. She's the Swedish John, and I'm praying she rolls my way because her back would be bigger than Jupiter. That's floating up in space. Damn, man. I appreciate a nice booty. So I'm just picturing it, and I'm like, yep. That's why I like this song. It's not really any good reasons. It's that it's so innocent. And I like how it's so innocent. It's so authentic. These are just guys trying to have fun, trying to show love and, get some girls and whatnot. That seems very normal, My favorite part of the whole song, though, is your ex-man's a lab rat, talks about trap, he don't get cash, go tell that pussy all... whatever he says, low that. I don't know what he said at the end there, but that's really fun. I like the fact that, again, it's about authenticity, and there's all these lines all over this album that prove that this man is about the authenticity. I get this a 4.35. While, again, the content and the themes aren't really my favorite, I can't help but love the vibe and the overall fun. And while I would skip over Psych Out if I played this at a party, I would also maybe leave it because it would get people moving and dancing, and this is really good. As far as clubby, dancing music goes, I want substance. I want people who try like this, so this is fucking cool. The next one on the album is something I don't wear, and that's a necklace.
Up the top in the seal. Up the top in the seal. She don't love me, she just love my eye.
Auto-tune came, like the clear... Anyway, I'm not trying to make fun of it. It's just not my favorite, the way it's used like that. If you can't sing, just get a singer. Just get somebody who can sing, in my opinion. Or don't put the auto-tune and own it like fucking Boogie. I respected Boogie for not using the auto-tune like that. That's just my thoughts on that, but that's cool. This is the most generic sounding song on the album for like American pop music. And for that, it was just the hardest to get into. Almost none of the lines really struck out to me in terms of stuff to like comment on. It's basically, they're popping, I'm gonna go fuck up a check. No, I'm gonna go fuck up that check. I did the digital jazz. I live in Chelsea. I got them white folk around me. Still got a Glock in the stash. It's a lot of stuff like that. So nothing original really is what it felt. But on the other hand, if you go back to that versatility point, I can't hate him for doing this in any way, shape, or form. I don't have to like it all. Like I said, he's experimenting at this point, trying to make less aggressive music maybe, trying to make something that appeals to a different audience, and he's playing around with it. This is the guy's first album, 9 songs, 9 styles of beats, genres really. That's really cool and impressive. And I really want to emphasize that more than I want to emphasize that this is really the song you should skip if you have any kind of interest in the more conscious lyrical shit. You're not going to like this one. But if you're into that flow, vibey stuff, if trap music is your thing, I really think you'll feel this one. I think it's well made. I just don't think it's really a song that's for me in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that he can do it and do it as well as anybody else is really impressive and should be noted. Anyway, I'm going to gloss over that. I give this a 4. It might be the lowest grade I've given on the album. That's just kind of what it is. And the next one is Prada Me.
No time, I just want my money right.
I like the hook at the part where he goes, and I got no time, and I just want my money right. Like that melody that he uses there without the auto-tune and shit, it really sounds nice. It really sounds cool to me. And I also really like the pun of the Prada Me, because he's obviously involved in fashion, so the Prada on him is one side of it. But the way he uses it, like, now you're proud of me, and how he plays up on that pun, that's creative, that's cool. That is a good use of Prada as far as puns go. I don't know, it's a cool praise. It's a cool idea. He apparently heard somebody use it, and I like the fact that he's willing to tell the internet that he didn't come up with it. He just made it greater than it was, like most artists do. Most people aren't that original. They don't really come up with all that much shit. We just see stuff and we go, I wish it was like this, or I could do it better, or I could twist it. And then you get the world that we live in. So that's where we're at with shit. I don't know. I feel like this is very similar to Necklace in the sense that it's not really the kind of song I'm that into. I got a lot on my mind. Fuck with my slime and get slimed. I guess that all in my time. I heard she yours, but she mine now. I mean, here we're getting in the I'm taking your girl lines are being pulled in. It's fine. It's like, I don't want to hate on this guy because he seems to be living this life and he seems to be really authentic with most of his shit. And if he really is fashionable and having all this shit happen, I don't want to be like, oh, that's not something you should be making songs about. But if that's what your life fully is, and you're only going to talk about that, at a certain point, I'm like, I would love to hear your thoughts on, like, gentrification or some shit like that or whatever. But, I understand that this is him experimenting. And I understand that this is him trying out new shit. This isn't even his main style, as he said. So I'm not trying to be too harsh on it. I think this one has more merit to it than the previous one. Like, free all my boys in a can. None those clothes, you'll get a 10. Man, no, I do it for Mitt. Man, no, I do it for Dan. I don't know who those people are, but you know now that he's doing it for them. Either way, I love the fact that he still cares about his people who's locked up, and he still cares about his hood. He still cares about the people around him. And that, again, makes me totally okay with a guy like him getting rich, because it's not just about him. It's about him and Squad. And as long as Squad's involved, I know you're employing people. You're creating jobs, and you're making your community better. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't think about when they criticize wealthy people. If a billionaire can make all sorts of jobs, then that guy deserves to be a billionaire. If a billionaire takes away from the situation, then that guy's an asshole. This guy, he's the kind of guy that we need more rich folk like, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think he's just saying it for the talk. I think he's saying it to be real. Anyway, 4.1 on 5. It's a little bit better than the last one. And then I had to Google what Ladbroke Grove is. I didn't even say it right this time. Ladbroke Grove. That's the next song. Like, you gotta understand that I felt like the album was in a lull, and that I was gonna have to come on here and basically talk about how much I didn't like 2/3 of the project. And that wasn't an appealing moment. And then Georgia Smith appears on this song and gives this weird, different sound. Apparently, this is acting like a garage MC. That means absolutely fucking nothing to me. But I'm assuming it reflects the style and the way he's coming at it, which doesn't sound like a lot I've heard before in terms of just the attitude towards this music. So that combination of almost this housey dance music, something like that, mixed with the cool effects on Georgia Smith. No one knows the pain. No one sees what I see in you. No one feels the same. No one sees myself like you do. That's some deep shit. We're no longer in Vapid land to me. And then all of a sudden, he's just fucking like, yo, it's the Hyperman set. AJ Tracey live and direct. DJ mash up the deck. The microphone champ is live and direct. That flow is hype. The whole chorus is hype. The way he's bouncing off of shit, it's just fucking fun to listen to. If I want more like that, like if you guys can recommend me some albums like this, maybe we'll do some classic reviews on some of this shit, because, you know, it's part of the whole culture of the world. Drake has officially unified hip-hop and UK, so, well, he's trying to, apparently. Either way, I don't know if we'd all be listening to UK albums over here quite as much if it wasn't for Drake, so that happened. Then the verses are proper too. Lyrically, it's fine. And when I say it's fine, it means that it's still pretty good. It's still very witty. It's still got cool shit, but this is less flossy and more like he's dope. And I like him rapping about how dope he is, you know, and this is a song named after where he's come from. And I like just shit like, when my team's in the place is shut down, I'm gonna ride on a wave till it's sundown. I don't know what ping ting look like a touchdown. I don't know what that means. All my haters getting vexed because I'm up now. So it almost sounds like your standard what happens when you rise up in the hood shit. And that's unfortunate because, as we discussed a bit earlier in the podcast, that just seems to happen to everyone. So I don't have any like I get it. If you're living through that, you should put it out because that's what you're feeling and shit. But I really enjoyed it. I went and then my kettle got bust down. I went up, then my kettle got bust down. I don't really know what that means, but I really love when he goes bling blow. Every time he says bling blow on this album, I get very fucking happy. Sometimes it's the simple shit that amuses you. Overall, like, while I don't fully catch every nuance about it, and I do get the energy he's putting out, like shit like said I'm a rock star in the same verses, and wait, everybody run from the cop car, and I don't know about sober. I'm just a block boy sitting in a Rover. It's like, yeah, I kind of get where you're coming from. And what I really appreciated is I get the yaddy love like a pop star, and when I'm in the ends, I'm a block star. You know, like you get the sense that he's aspiring to be like almost the #1 artist. Like he's trying to get there, and he's doing it in a very straight up way. And again, it's the attitude that he sells it so fucking well on this song, but with that crazy upbeat, amazing fucking flows, amazing fucking instrumental. This song is a 4.5 on 5. I really enjoyed it. It's just like, damn, I plussed it on Spotify. This is some shit I'm gonna listen to when I'm feeling a bit pissy in the morning and I gotta get into an upbeat mood for work, because part of your job is always to be smiley in an upbeat work so that you can answer crucial questions like, how was your weekend? And not make people feel depressed. Anyway, that's a great song. I really enjoyed it. And then the next one is called Doing It.
You say it for me quickly. Big man living like a picnic. I might Bob Marley if I can't sleep.
That beat is fire. That beat just makes me excited. It just makes me fucking grind. It's just grind music. And again, 12th song on the album, 12th fucking styly beat thing, something new, super impressive. The lack of repetition in terms of sonic style is dumbfounding. It's really impressive. So, while maybe on a lyrical front, there is a bunch of like repetition in terms of styles. I'm not trying to hate. I'm not trying to talk some shit. I'm trying to say that he's him. He's spitting his shit, and that's what he's doing. But the fact that he's able to do it over such a varied soundscape, it's just so impressive to me, because that is versatility. That is some shit that so many people are afraid of even trying, and to see guys doing it in like 2019, it's exciting for the future of music, you know? It's AJ, can you say it for me quickly? Probably. It's AJ, can you say it for me quickly? It's AJ, can you say it for me quickly? I don't know how fast I can say it. I can talk pretty quick, but I'd have to practice that specific line, I guess. Big man living in a picnic. I might Bob Marley if I can't sleep. Puff puff. And I don't love Bobby like I'm Whitney. And I appreciate that, because Everyone Loves Bobby, I believe, was a reality TV show that was, I don't know why that happened, but anyway, the lyrics are just still in the same vein. I'm just kind of reading them to you so you can see that they're kind of still in the same vein of what we've been coming up to. Only that this chorus is an extra fucking banger with, now I got a house in the west, I'm doing it. Now I put the ice on my chest, I'm doing it. Now I got plants on the wall, I'm doing it. Now I never answer a call. And you know, you get this sense that he's made it. He's accomplishing shit. He's not just talking, he's walking. He's moved on. He's finally getting this shit. And you just get this sense where, like, if you keep grinding, if you keep pushing, if you keep doing it, you're gonna get there. And that's what's amazing about this, is now he's got there and he's still doing it. He's still pushing, he's still grinding and shit. And it's really great. It really just makes my head bump. It really has this crazy drum patterns, crazy fast-paced energy on that beat, and he knows how to take that and just bounce off of it in a way where I think flows so well. So I'm giving this song another 4.5 on 5. I wish it might have like a deeper concept to it. That's just always what I wish when I listen to music. I like music that sounds like this, but is also blowing my mind conceptually. But I'll take music that sounds like this, that sounds fucking dope, over shit that's maybe super conceptual that isn't quite as fun to listen to, because there's, again, a time and a place to sit there and be pensive, and a time where you just want to be wilding out, being like, I'm doing it, you know, singing along to some AJ Tracey. Anyway, super impressive track, super fucking dope. And then the next one had a feature that got me a little excited, so why don't we talk about how there's nothing but net.
Got a bad one doing what I say so. Cuban Richard Trini with me fucking up a peso. Gang sky choppers that pave load.
Once upon a time, we reviewed a Giggs album, Riddim, and Giggs shared a little snippet of us on Instagram, similar to what I described at the very beginning of this video, only I think he was laughing at us because we sounded kind of dumb. But good on Giggs for being the first ever artist to share us in any capacity. And so, yeah, I hope Giggs sees this again and knows that we really appreciated that. It really motivated us. And that video did particularly well at a time when, I mean, none of our videos do really well. But relatively speaking, that video did really well. And so thank you, Giggs. That's really cool. And since then, we've come to really appreciate what you do a lot more. It was just very new at that time. So that's why I feel like Giggs' verse is ridiculous, man. First of all, the slowed flow. The fact that his timing, And the way he uses pauses is just like the opposite of what maybe we've been getting from AJ Tracey, but it counterbalances so beautifully. Like, something I've really come to appreciate is a guy who can like leave like an open bar, knowing exactly that what he's going to say next is going to come out and just strike it really proper. And Giggs is just owning it in that regards. Like, it's just so strong. And then what he's saying, it's just so simple. Yeah, guns out, park up quick, jump out, spark up, big blunts out, knock your big fronts out, stop your shit, calm down, shut your lips right now. I'm not going to shut my lips, Mr. Giggs, but I will proceed to say that that is fucking fun to listen to. That is just hard hitting, and it really punches off the rhythm. And it's so, again, different from what AJ Tracey has just given us on the same song with his more fast pace, his more energetic flow. And I think between the passion and intensity of Giggs and the energy of AJ Tracey, we have one of the best songs on this fucking album. No lie. We got the bling blouse. We got the fucking crazy ass amazing beat that just it's diverse and alive and evolves to fit each artist. We've got really talented people making really great sounding shit, in my opinions. I don't have a lot more to break down. I don't want to comment on Mr. Giggs' lifestyle in any way and get laughed at again on Instagram, but I do want to say that he's so good to listen to. The way that they put effects on his voice kind of gives this ethereal feel to his delivery. Like, it sounds exactly like him, but with a slight ghostiness to it, which I really like. Overall, this is a dope-ass song, 4.75, and it's really enjoyable. I keep saying that because so many things on this album are really enjoyable. Even the next one, even if it's a fucking horror flick.
Where I'm from, are you back? Are you man from Ladbroke Grove? That's no maps. Trust me, I'm super comfy, no gas.
This is another one where I think the beat is just fucking exceptional. The energy is just so next level. Like, this is just some aggressive, almost silly, but still serious shit going on right now. Like, that beat feels UK. Like, if you were to, I would call it grimy because I'm ignorant and it just sounds like what I would throw under that bucket. But the way he bounces off of it, just fucking throw, is just so beautiful. My favorite line is, I'm a cool guy, I'm lovely with parents, but it gets peak when I see a full moon. That was really funny. How, like, for the most part, he's fine, but when shit triggers him, or when he sees a full moon and turns into a werewolf, like, it's almost like he's a regular dude until he snaps, you know? But it's what I meant by silly is he's literally got lines like, I'm in a ghost with a vampire princess, horror flick when I'm out with the crew. So, as much as, yeah, it's hard, because it is, it's still a little silly to think about a vampire princess in the midst of his typical shit, you know? I really enjoy it. He made the Halloween theme. He made a bunch of lines that kind of bounce off of that. It's a little bit more on the violent, I'm gonna fuck you up kind of side. And I think he does that so well. I think he's a great artist with this aggressive, fast-paced, punchy type shit. But meanwhile, again, you still want to dance. And meanwhile, you're still getting that super fucking diverse feel to it. Like, there's not another song on this album that I think sounds like horror flick, and we're on track 14. So the fact that outside of maybe lyrical content, we've gotten very little repetition, it's still blowing my mind. And I think it has to be said multiple times, because these are the types of things that I don't think people really appreciate, especially from the more lyrical miracle camps. When they come into acts like this, they're not going to give it the love it deserves, because, well, there's also the side where I find a lot of people listen to singles, and when you listen to an album, you can truly appreciate somebody's versatility. But if all you do is hear the singles, you'll still appreciate the versatility, but you're not going to be hit with how profoundly talented a person really is. You're just going to see the singles that are often specifically made to sell. In many cases, singles are the worst songs on albums, and the good shit's kind of buried that isn't the single. Anyway, not a lot in terms of the lyrics that I thought were like next level changing. It was mostly the flow, the way he delivers it, the overall passion and energy that really blows my mind. But this song is really fun. This is one of the best energies on the album, and it's another one that I could find myself really going back and just listening to and like wanting to put on again and again and again, because it makes me want to move. I can't even sit still while horror flicks on, and that's a really cool feeling to have. So I really appreciate how good this song is at doing what it's supposed to be doing, and so I give it a 5 on 5. It's very strong, it's very cool, it's just so fun that I can't help but love it. which is so weird because it's called horror flick, and maybe it isn't. Maybe the goal from his perspective wasn't to make like the funnest shit in the world, but still, that's what it is. I digress. One last one on this album. It's been a very fun album so far. Let's see how it closes with Triple S.
I just arrived, know I'm going outside. That boy's my son.
So, like, the fact that there's no drums until you get to the end of the first verse, it just builds hype. I don't think people realize how powerful a drum drop is, but I can assure you that this is a banger for a live performance. He said specifically it's why he wrote it, but he's right. It is exactly that. You know, I could just see how he's like, West Store on my dick. Dead men are still on Yahoo. Who the fuck is still on Yahoo? How fucking out of times can you be? And you know how you know that people are on Yahoo? Because it's still here and it still has pay-per-click services and they still make money. It's fucking whack, but they're still here. Anyway, when he goes, I'm just arrived, and the drums kick in, you can just picture the mosh pit that's about to blow the fuck up as people turn out, and he just keeps it running. But he's also got, like, crazy good lines on this shit that I find are really substantial. Never try to call man again. Stop that. We are not friends. Please go away and write your sins. Chanel know that I love their fabric bins. So it's like, it's just this sense of like he knows who his team is, he's down with his squad, and he's able to like just spit it in a way where if you cross him or shit's there, he'll cut you out. He's cold. He's got this like OG mentality to him that I really appreciate. My young brown kings, none of us know about treason. That's a great line. To be a king without treason, it's just amazing. It's loyalty. It's not snitching. It's doing the right thing. And considering how many of his people are in jail, you could imagine that they're a tight-knit crew that like holds it down proper. I like that he literally ends this song with Super Smash Bros. Bust 'em out. It's like the last line is a Super Smash Bros. Bar. That's the last real line we're getting on this album. That's fucking incredible. To me, at least, this geeky white kid right here. I love that shit. This song has a fantastic energy. It is a great way to close out the album. I found it, again, the beat is just so triumphant, and it's different because it has that build-up, because it has a kind of flow. Like, this is something that I think could really work as maybe either an album opener or a closer, or at least some point in the mid, right after some of the more R&B shit to get everyone to turn up again. It's great. It's really well done. 4.5 on 5. I guess that's the end of this review. I really enjoyed this project. I gave the entire album a 4.44. Part of it is that there are songs on here that blow my mind in terms of how much they impress me and how much I want to listen to them and how much I enjoy them. On the other hand, there's a couple songs like Butterflies and Necklace that are just like less my cup of tea. They're a little more R&B, singy. One of them literally has autotune on it. It's just not my favorite. But I have to, for those of you who just skipped to the end, I just want to point out how versatile this guy is. He manages to bring his style vocally to all of these different tracks. All 15 of them have a different beat in terms of style. He's not afraid to experiment, down to using fucking guitars. It's really cool. I'm really impressed by this guy, and I want to see amazing things happen in his future. I want to see him really pop up, because on top of coming into his own, he really shows that loyalty is important to him, and that he adheres to like almost more like he's so honest. It feels like this doesn't feel like some guy just selling a fantasy. It feels like a guy who's made it a reality, and that's really different, and that's really appreciated by me. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you think about this review, what you think about AJ Tracey in general. Through your comments, I can often grow and learn and get better at this shit. Since I will talk about this guy on his next project, I would love to learn as much as I can from his actual fans, from people who've been following him. So before we leave, special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Super Old School 1994, Lindell Williamson, Carl J. Y'all are fucking incredible. They support us directly, and through them we got a new camera recently, and as we grow it out, we're gonna get both better gear and ultimately more people involved, because that's going to help us do a better show. I'm not an editor. Like, my set looks like shit. I know. The window's open. I should have closed it and put down the thing behind it so there isn't that triangle behind me. See, like, it's just shit like that. But I can only go so far with my time, with what I can put in, and I gotta focus on this. And so it's kind of hard to do everything. So those guys have helped us a lot. By joining us, they get to join the request pool, where every couple of weeks Patreon picks the album and they each get their turn. And when you join up the following month, no matter what, we'll do one of your requests as soon as we can. And so that's going to happen next month for Carl J. While simultaneously, I think we do Ismail Gadamsi's album review. It's either him or Lindell. I'm not sure. Sorry about that. Still, thank y'all for the support. Otherwise, you can do the comment, like, subscribe, and show love like that. We're a small enough channel that I will, in fact, answer everybody who comments on us. I can do that until I can't. I also dropped a project recently. It's available on Spotify, iTunes. It's on this. All the songs are on this channel. And yeah, you can check the link to that below and let me know what you think. And so we'll be back with more reviews. I'm on vacation the next couple of weeks, so there might be finally those Rina reviews I've been meaning to get done. So thank you all for watching again, and have a wonderful week.